The year was 2157. Earth had changed a lot in the last century. Humans had settled on Mars and built research stations across the solar system. They had solved many of their old problems, but they were still alone in the universe. Or so they thought. Jack Nelson stood on the bridge of the USV Explorer, staring at the screens that showed the dark space around Neptune. He was the science officer on this mission to study Neptune's strange weather patterns. Jack had been in space for 3 years, but he never got tired of looking at the stars. "Sir, I'm picking up a strange energy reading," said Susan Wright, the ship's sensor specialist. Her fingers moved quickly over her screen. Captain Frank Howard walked over to look at her readings. "Show me." Susan pointed to a flashing dot on her screen. "It's not like anything we've seen before. It's not a natural signal." Jack felt his heart beat faster. Everyone on the bridge became very quiet. "Could it be from Earth?" asked Captain Howard. Susan shook her head. "No, sir. The signal pattern is like nothing in our database." Captain Howard thought for a moment, then made his decision. "Change course. Let's see what's out there." The USV Explorer turned and moved toward the strange signal. As they got closer, they began to see something on their screens. It was a ship, but not a human one. It was oddly shaped, with parts that looked like wings spread out from a round center. "It appears to be damaged," Jack said, looking at the readings. "There's a leak of some kind of energy from their engine section." Captain Howard nodded. "Open a channel, all frequencies." The communications officer, Betty Coleman, pressed some buttons. "Channel open, sir." Captain Howard took a deep breath. "This is Captain Frank Howard of the United Earth Nations vessel Explorer. We have noticed you are in distress. Can we offer assistance?" For a long time, there was no answer. Then a strange sound came through the speakers. It wasn't a language anyone had heard before, but it had a pattern that suggested intelligence. "Run it through the universal translator," ordered Captain Howard. After a few minutes, the computer began to make sense of the sounds. "Please, stay away. Dangerous," came a scratchy voice through the speakers. Captain Howard looked confused. "We mean no harm. We want to help you." Another pause, then. "You approach predators? Willingly?" Jack and the others looked at each other in confusion. "We are not predators," Captain Howard said clearly. "We are humans from the planet Earth. We want to help repair your ship." A longer pause followed. Finally, the voice returned, clearer now, as the translator improved. "We accept help, but careful. We are afraid." Over the next few hours, the Explorer moved alongside the alien ship. Jack led a team in spacesuits to help repair the damaged engine. The aliens, who called themselves Venosians, were reptile-like creatures with scales that changed color based on their emotions. They seemed terrified of the humans at first, staying far away and watching from a distance. When the repairs were complete, Captain Howard invited the Venosian leader aboard the Explorer for a friendly meeting. The alien, who introduced himself as Ambassador Zix, came with 2 guards. All 3 Venosians moved nervously, their scales flickering between green and purple. The humans had prepared a special room for the meeting, with a table full of food from Earth. Captain Howard, Jack, Susan, and the ship's doctor, Linda Peters, waited to greet them. "Welcome aboard the Explorer," Captain Howard said with a smile. "We have prepared some food from our world to share with you." Ambassador Zix looked at the food table. His scales suddenly turned bright yellow. What is that?" he asked, pointing at a plate of grilled steak. "That's beef," explained Linda. "It's meat from an animal called a cow." "And that?" Zix pointed at another dish. "Grilled salmon. It's a fish from our oceans," said Jack, taking a bite to show it was good. "And that one?" Zix's voice was shaking now. "That's alligator meat," said Susan. "It's a special dish from a region of Earth called Florida. It's from a large reptile predator that lives in our swamps." All 3 Venosians backed away, their scales, now bright yellow with black spots. The guards made high-pitched sounds that the translator didn't catch. You eat predators?" Ambassador Zix asked, his voice filled with disbelief. Captain Howard nodded, confused by their reaction. Yes, we eat many animals, including predators. Is that unusual? Ambassador Zix's whole body was shaking now. In the galactic community, species are ranked by what they can safely eat. Most intelligent species eat plants or small insects. The bravest ones sometimes eat fish or very small animals. Jack took another bite of his steak and the Venosians watched in horror. No species we have ever met hunts and eats apex predators, Zix continued. It is unthinkable. Too dangerous. The humans looked at each other, starting to understand. So, because we eat predators, you think we are? Linda began. Terrifying, finished Ambassador Zix. In our history, we ran from predators. We hid. We never thought of eating them. The idea that you not only kill these dangerous creatures but also enjoy eating them. His scales shifted to a deep blue. Captain Howard tried to ease the tension. I assure you we mean no harm to your people. Zix nodded slowly. I believe you. But I must inform the Galactic Council about humans immediately. They must know that we have met a species that feasts on apex predators without fear. Jack couldn't help but smile. In one day, humanity had gone from being alone in the universe to being feared as the most dangerous species known. As the Venosians prepared to leave, Ambassador Zix turned to Captain Howard one last time. The galaxy will never be the same now that we know about humans. Some will fear you, others will seek your protection, but all will respect you. The USV Explorer's crew watched as the alien ship moved away, repaired and heading back to whatever civilization existed beyond their solar system. Earth's first contact had not gone as anyone had expected. But as Jack looked around at his fellow crew members, he knew one thing for sure. The galaxy was about to learn a lot more about humans and their strange, fearless ways. News about humans spread fast through the galaxy. In just 1 month, every major species had heard about the strange creatures who ate apex predators without fear. Some stories grew in the telling, claiming humans hunted the most dangerous beasts with their bare hands. The Galactic Council, made up of representatives from 17 spacefaring civilizations, called an emergency meeting. Earth received the invitation 2 weeks after the explorers' first contact with the Venosians. The idea. United Earth nations quickly selected Ambassador Mary Collins and her assistant George Baker to represent humanity. They traveled on the fastest ship available, the USV Pathfinder, to reach the meeting place, a space station orbiting a neutral star. Mary was a tall woman with short gray hair and many years of experience in tough negotiations. George was younger, with a sharp mind for details and a good memory for names. Both were excited but nervous as they stepped onto the space station. This was humanity's first time meeting many alien species at once. A small blue alien with 4 arms met them at the docking bay. Welcome to Council Station, it said through a translator device. I am Vril, your guide. The council is waiting. Mary and George followed Vril through long corridors. They passed aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others had many legs or floated instead of walking. All of them moved aside when they saw the humans coming, pressing against the walls to make space. They seem afraid of us, George whispered to Mary. Ambassador Zix's report has made quite an impression, Vril explained, its large eyes blinking rapidly. Most species here have evolved to run from predators, not eat them. They reached a large round room with 17 seats arranged in a circle. Each seat was different, designed for the unique body of each council member. In the center was a smaller platform where guests could stand. As Mary and George entered, a wave of whispers filled the room. Some council members leaned away. Others leaned forward with interest. A tall insect-like alien with a shimmering green shell stood up. I am High Speaker Kraz, it said, its voice deep and clicking. Welcome, humans, to the Galactic Council. We have called this meeting to learn more about your species and determine your place in our community. Mary stepped onto the central platform. Thank you for your welcome. Earth is honored to join the galactic community. We come in peace and friendship. A reptilian creature similar to Ambassador Zix, but with bright red scales, spoke next. Peace? You eat predators. Your very nature is
violence!
Several council members nodded in agreement. Mary stayed calm. On Earth, humans are the apex species. We have evolved to use tools and intelligence to hunt animals for food. This is natural for us. Show us examples of this hunting, asked a furry creature with 6 eyes. We wish to understand. George connected their datapad to the room's system. We've prepared some videos to show typical human activities. The first video showed people fishing for sharks from a boat. The council members watched in stunned silence as the humans pulled a large shark from the water, then prepared it for cooking. The second video showed a traditional hunting party in Africa, tracking and taking down a lion. The third showed people at a rodeo riding bulls and wrestling calves. With each video, the council's reaction grew stronger. Some members covered their eyes or turned away. Others watched with fascination. One small alien fainted and had to be carried out. These are not even your most dangerous activities, said a jellyfish-like being floating in a tank of water. Ambassador, Zix reported you have competitions where you fight each other for entertainment. George nodded. We have many sports and martial arts. They help us stay strong and teach discipline. And is it true, asked High Speaker Kraz, that humans sometimes keep predators as pets? Mary smiled. Yes, many humans keep dogs and cats as companions. Some people even keep more exotic animals like snakes or large cats, though that's less common. She showed pictures of people with their pets, a woman hugging a large dog, a man with a python around his shoulders, and a zookeeper playing with a tiger cub. 3 more council members fainted. The rest erupted in shocked conversation. Silence, called High Speaker Kraz, its shell rattling for attention. When the room quieted, it turned to Mary. In all our history, we have never encountered a species like yours. You not only survive alongside predators, you dominate them, consume them, and even form bonds with them. This is disturbing to many here. A blue, crystalline being that had been quiet until now spoke up. I propose we quarantine Earth. These humans are too dangerous to allow free travel in the galaxy. Several council members voiced agreement, but others objected. Wait, said a small gray alien with large eyes. The humans have shown no aggression toward other intelligent species. Their treatment of predator animals might seem shocking, but perhaps their fearlessness could be valuable. The draconids grow more threatening each year. Mary looked at George, confused. Who are the draconids? She whispered. A warlike species on the edge of council space, explained High Speaker Kraz. They respect only strength and have been testing our borders. Humans might be exactly what we need, continued the gray alien. A species that doesn't run from predators could stand against the draconid threat. The council broke into loud debate. Some wanted to isolate Earth completely. Others saw potential benefits in an alliance. The argument went back and forth for hours while Mary and George watched. Finally, High Speaker Kraz raised its limbs for silence. We have reached a decision. Earth will be granted provisional membership in the galactic community. Humans may travel on approved trade routes only. We will continue to observe and learn about your species. Mary bowed respectfully. Thank you, High Speaker. Earth looks forward to peaceful exchange with all council species. As the meeting ended, many council members kept their distance from the humans, but a few approached cautiously, curious to learn more. The small gray alien who had spoken in their favor introduced itself as Diplomat Nix. I am glad you have joined us, it said. But be warned, the draconids will hear of your abilities soon. They always test new species, usually with a challenge of combat. Mary's face grew serious. Earth doesn't seek conflict, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. Nix's large eyes blinked slowly. I believe you will do more than that. For the first time, I think the draconids may meet a species they cannot intimidate. As Mary and George prepared to return to their ship, they knew Earth's place in the galaxy had changed forever. Humanity was seen as something new and frightening, creatures who ate predators and feared no beast. What would happen next was uncertain, but One thing was clear. The galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. 2 months after the council meeting, the warning from diplomat Nix came true. A message arrived at Earth's new embassy on Council Station. The Draconids had issued a formal challenge to humanity. According to galactic tradition, each new species had to prove their worth through combat with a Draconid champion, or be considered weak and ripe for conquest. President Laura Blake of the United Earth Nations called an emergency meeting with her top advisors. They gathered in the Oval Office in Washington, D.C., the old capital that still served as Earth's political center. "We need a champion," said Defense Secretary William Jones, a retired general with a stern face. "Someone who can fight this alien and win." "But we know nothing about Draconids," argued science advisor Helen Wu. "Their strength, their weaknesses, their fighting style, it's all unknown to us." President Blake looked at the images of Draconids sent by the Council. They were tall, reptilian creatures with strong tails and sharp claws. They looked like Earth's ancient dinosaurs, but with larger brains and hands that could use tools. "Send me all the data we have on them," the president ordered, "and find me someone who can win this fight." After searching through military records, they found their champion, Olivia Martinez, a retired Marine and wilderness survival expert who had experience hunting dangerous animals and competing in combat sports. She had once survived for 3 weeks in the Amazon rainforest with only a knife, during which time she had fought off a jaguar attack. Olivia was living quietly in Montana when the call came. At first she thought it was a joke. When she realized it was real, she accepted immediately. "Fighting an alien can't be that different from wrestling an alligator," she said with a shrug when she arrived at the White House. "You just need to find the weak spots." For 2 weeks, Olivia trained with scientists and combat experts. They studied the limited footage of Draconids and created training robots that moved like them. Olivia learned to fight against the long tail and how to avoid the sharp claws. When the day of the challenge arrived, Earth sent a small delegation to the neutral moon, where the combat would take place. Representatives from all council species came to watch. Many placed bets on how quickly the human would lose. The fighting area was a large circle marked on the dusty surface of the moon. A clear dome covered it, providing air for both fighters. Olivia stepped into the circle wearing a lightweight spacesuit designed for maximum movement. She carried only a combat knife, as the rules allowed one simple weapon. The Draconid champion entered from the opposite side. It was even larger than they had expected, nearly 8 feet tall with green scales that shimmered in the light. It wore ceremonial armor on its chest and carried a short spear. Its name was Krath, and it had never lost a challenge fight. High Speaker Kraz announced the rules. "The fight continues until one fighter surrenders or is unable to continue. Death is not required, but is allowed." The aliens in the audience whispered, among themselves. Most expected to see the human die quickly. To them, humans were a curiosity. Creatures that ate predators but surely could not fight a Draconid warrior. When the signal to begin came, Krath roared and charged forward with surprising speed. Olivia didn't run. She waited, balanced on the balls of her feet, knife held low and ready. At the last moment she stepped aside, avoiding the spear thrust and slashing at the Draconid's arm as it passed. Green blood appeared on its scales. The audience gasped. First blood had gone to the human. Krath turned, now more cautious. It circled Olivia, using its tail to try to trip her. She jumped over it easily, showing the results of her training. The Draconid attacked again, this time using its claws in a sweeping motion. Olivia ducked under them and moved inside its reach, stabbing upward toward the unarmored belly. The knife didn't penetrate deeply, but Krath roared in pain and staggered back. Now the audience was completely silent, watching in disbelief. The human was not only surviving, but fighting well. For 10 minutes the battle continued. Olivia received a cut on her arm and a bruise on her side from the tail, but she kept moving, kept fighting. She was smaller but faster, and she used it to her advantage. Each time Krath attacked, she countered with quick strikes. Finally, Olivia saw her chance. When Krath thrust the spear forward, She grabbed it, pulling the draconid off balance. Using a move from her judo training, she rolled backward and threw the alien over her head. Krath landed hard on its back, and before it could recover, Olivia was on its chest, knife at its throat. "Surrender," she said, breathing hard. For a long moment the draconid stared at her. Then it made a gesture with its clawed hand. "I surrender," it said in a deep, rumbling voice. Olivia stood up and, to everyone's surprise, offered her hand to help Krath stand. The draconid looked confused at first, then took her hand and rose. High Speaker Kraz announced, "The human champion is victorious. According to galactic law, the draconids must respect humanity's borders and sovereignty." The alien audience erupted in excited conversation. They had seen something unprecedented, a new species defeating a draconid champion in its first challenge. As Olivia walked back to the Earth delegation, Ambassador Mary Collins asked her, "Were you afraid?" Olivia wiped sweat from her forehead and shrugged. "I've hunted lions in Africa and wrestled alligators in Florida. This wasn't so different. Their weak spots are just in different places." Mary shook her head in amazement. This casual attitude toward fighting a giant alien predator was exactly what made humans so shocking to the rest of the galaxy. Later, at the formal reception celebrating the victory, representatives from many species approached the human delegation. Some wanted to form trade agreements, others offered technology exchanges, a few even suggested military alliances. Humanity's status had changed overnight from curiosity to respected power. The draconid leader, a massive creature named Lord Drex, approached Olivia with an escort of warriors. The room grew quiet as he stopped before her. Then, to everyone's shock, he bowed deeply. "You fought with honor and skill," he said. "The draconids recognize humans as worthy. We offer not just peace, but alliance." Olivia bowed in return. Earth would be honored to call the draconids friends. As the reception continued, Diplomat Nix approached Mary. "You realize what has happened here?" the small gray alien asked. "You've done what no species has done before. You've earned the respect of the draconids. But more importantly, you've shown the galaxy that humans truly are different. You don't just eat predators. You can defeat the galaxy's greatest warriors in combat." Mary looked around at the aliens now gathering around Olivia, eager to meet the human who had done the impossible. "What happens next?" she asked. Nix's large eyes blinked slowly. "The galaxy changes. With humans now recognized as a power, the balance shifts, and I believe we will all be safer for it." Following the dramatic victory over the draconid champion, Earth's standing in the galactic community rose quickly. Trade agreements were signed, and cultural exchanges began. But many alien species still kept a safe distance from humans, viewing them with a mixture of respect and fear. To build better relations, the United Earth Nations proposed a different kind of contact: food diplomacy. "Food brings people together on Earth," explained Ambassador Mary Collins to the Galactic Council. "We believe it can bring species together as well." The Council approved the plan, and Earth sent its secret weapon. Chef Peter Wilson, owner of one of the most famous restaurants in North America. Peter was known for his creative cooking and friendly personality. His challenge was to set up the first human restaurant in neutral space. The restaurant, called Earth's Bounty, was built on Council Station. It had a kitchen designed for human cooking and a dining area that could accommodate aliens of all shapes and sizes. Peter spent weeks studying which Earth foods would be safe for different alien species. He learned that most could eat plant-based foods, while some could digest certain types of meat. On opening day, a small crowd of brave aliens gathered outside. Most were diplomats or traders who had dealt with humans before. Peter greeted them warmly, wearing his white chef's coat. "Welcome to Earth's Bounty," he said with a big smile. "Today we begin a journey of taste and friendship." At first, most aliens ordered only vegetable dishes. They watched nervously as humans at other tables ate meat. The concept of eating predator flesh still shocked them. But Peter had a plan to change this. He created a special menu called Steps of Courage. It started with plant dishes, then moved to simple fish, then to meat from herbivores like cows, and finally to meat from predators. Each alien guest could decide how far up the menu they wanted to go. Ambassador Jeff Moore from Earth was hosting Zelig, a diplomat from the Centurions, a species known for being cautious plant eaters. They were having lunch at Earth's bounty. "Try the garden salad," Jeff suggested. "It's made with vegetables similar to those on your world." Zelig carefully tasted the salad with its long, thin tongue. "This is pleasant," the alien said, its blue skin rippling with enjoyment. Over the next hour, Jeff gently encouraged Zelig to try more foods. First a soup made with rice, then bread with honey. Each new food made Zelig more confident. "What is that?" Zelig asked, pointing to Jeff's plate. "This is a hamburger," Jeff explained. "It's ground beef, meat from a herbivore animal called a cow, cooked and placed between bread." Zelig's skin turned pale. "You suggest I eat meat?" Jeff shrugged. "Only if you want to. Many aliens find it too strange." This challenge to Zelig's courage worked exactly as Peter had hoped. The Centurion straightened up, skin turning a determined orange. "I will try it," Zelig announced loudly. Several aliens at nearby tables turned to watch. Jeff cut a small piece of his hamburger and placed it on Zelig's plate. The alien stared at it for a long time, then quickly put it in its mouth. Everyone waited. Zelig's skin cycled through several colors, then settled on a bright purple, the Centurion color of surprise and delight. "It is good," Zelig said with wonder. "Strong and rich, but good." The story of Zelig eating beef spread quickly through the station. Soon more aliens were visiting Earth's bounty, challenging themselves to try new foods. Peter created special dishes that combined familiar alien foods with small amounts of Earth meats. A month after opening, Earth's bounty was the most popular restaurant on Council Station. Peter had become a celebrity, known for helping each guest find foods they could enjoy. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Lord Drex, the Draconid leader who had offered alliance with Earth, visited the restaurant with his guards. The room went quiet as the large reptilian aliens entered. Peter himself came out to greet them. "Welcome, Lord Drex. What can we prepare for you today?" Peter asked. Lord Drex's yellow eyes scanned the menu. "I am told you serve predator meat. Is this true?" Peter nodded. "We do. We have dishes made with shark, alligator, and lion, all predators from Earth." "Bring me your most dangerous predator dish," Lord Drex commanded. Peter went to the kitchen and returned with a special plate. Lion meat prepared with spices, grilled to perfection. "This is from Earth's savanna lion, one of our most respected predators," Peter explained. The entire restaurant watched as Lord Drex cut a piece and ate it. His scaled face showed no emotion for several seconds. Then he did something no one had seen a Draconid do before. He smiled. "This is worthy food for warriors," he declared. "From this day, Draconids will eat as humans do, taking the strength of predators into ourselves." This moment changed everything. If the fearsome Draconids approved of human food, it must be acceptable. Soon, ambassadors from all species were visiting Earth's bounty, eager to show their courage by trying Earth foods. Peter expanded the menu, adding a section called Daredevil Delicacies, featuring foods that even humans considered dangerous, like carefully prepared pufferfish. These became status symbols among aliens trying to prove their bravery. Earth's bounty became more than a restaurant. It became an unofficial meeting place for galactic diplomacy. Species that normally avoided each other found common ground in their amazement at human eating habits. Trade deals were negotiated over plates of exotic Earth foods. Military alliances were formed while sharing desserts. 6 months after opening, Peter received a special visitor. High Speaker Kraz itself came to the restaurant. "Chef Peter," the insect-like alien said formally, "the Council recognizes the important work you have done here. Through your food, you have brought species together and changed how the galaxy sees humans." Peter smiled modestly. "Food has always connected people on Earth. I'm glad it works the same way in space." "It is more than that," Kraz continued. "By showing that humans can share their most shocking custom, eating predators, you have made it less frightening." You have shown that humans wish to share their strength, not use it against others. After Kraz left, Peter looked around his busy restaurant. At one table, a Venosian was carefully trying beef stew. At another, a group of draconids was loudly enjoying shark steaks. In the corner, representatives from 3 previously hostile species were sharing a chocolate cake. Peter realized that humanity had found an unexpected way to connect with the galaxy. Not through fear of their predator-eating ways, but through sharing that very custom with others. By inviting aliens to their table, humans had transformed from frightening predator-eaters into respected friends. And it had all happened through the simple act of sharing a meal. One standard galactic year after Earth's first contact with the Venosians, a new threat emerged from the darkness of unexplored space. Reports came to the Galactic Council about entire worlds going silent along the outer rim. Investigation ships disappeared. Colonies were found abandoned, their resources stripped bare. The Council called an emergency meeting with representatives from all 17 member species. The evidence pointed to a terrifying conclusion. A hive mind species from outside charted space was consuming everything in its path. They called themselves the Harvesters. High Speaker Kraz addressed the crowded chamber. The Harvesters do not communicate or negotiate, they simply take. 3 council worlds have already been lost. Our combined fleets have failed to stop their advance. The chamber erupted in fearful discussion. Most council species had evolved as prey animals, with instincts to hide or run from danger. Even the draconids, the most warrior-like of the council races, had been defeated in direct combat with harvester ships. In desperation, the council turned to the newest member of their community, humanity. Ambassador Mary Collins received the call on Earth. President Laura Blake immediately convened her war council. Unlike the other species, humans didn't respond with fear. They responded with determination. If these harvesters are predators, then we know how to deal with them, the president said firmly. Humanity has been hunting dangerous creatures since we first picked up stones and sticks. Earth mobilized its newly created Space Force. Admiral Ellen Rodriguez, sister to Ambassador Mary Collins, took command of the flagship USV Intrepid. The human fleet was smaller than those of other council species, but their ships were designed differently. While alien vessels focused on speed and distance weapons, human ships were built for close combat and boarding actions. Admiral Rodriguez studied the harvester attack patterns. They hunt like pack predators, she observed, but every pack has an alpha. We need to find it and take it down. The council provided all their data, but they were skeptical of the human plan. You cannot fight these creatures directly, warned the Venosian ambassador. They are too powerful. Admiral Rodriguez smiled. On Earth, we have a saying, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Every predator has a weakness. The human fleet set out to meet the harvester swarm. Unlike previous defenders who tried to create defensive lines, the humans used an offensive strategy based on Earth's ancient hunting techniques. We'll approach like prehistoric humans hunting a mammoth, explained Admiral Rodriguez to her officers. Distract them with multiple targets, then strike at the vital points. The human ships split into smaller groups, attacking from different angles. This confused the harvester swarm, which was used to enemies that tried to flee or fought in large formations. The human vessels darted between the alien ships, causing them to fire on each other in the chaos. Through careful observation, Admiral Rodriguez identified the command ships controlling the swarm. She led the Intrepid on a daring charge through the harvester formation, taking damage but breaking through to the largest enemy vessel. Prepare boarding teams, she ordered. We're going hunting. The alien species, watching from safe distance, were shocked. No one had ever attempted to board a harvester ship. It was considered certain death. Marine Captain Sammy Lee led the boarding party. They cut through the hull and entered the massive ship. Inside, they found a nightmarish environment of organic technology. The harvesters themselves were insect-like, creatures connected to a central brain core. Remember your training, Captain Lee told his team. Just like hunting dangerous animals back home, identify the leader and take it down. They fought their way through swarms of worker drones, using tactics developed from Earth's long history of hunting dangerous prey. The harvesters were strong and numerous, but the humans were smarter and more adaptable. Finally, they reached the central chamber where the harvester queen controlled the hive mind. She was enormous, 30 feet tall with multiple limbs and a massive brain structure. Worker drones surrounded her protectively. "Target the neural connections," ordered Captain Lee. "Just like taking down a grizzly bear, hit the vital spots." The Marines fought fiercely, suffering casualties but advancing steadily. They placed explosive charges on the neural columns connecting the queen to her network. When they detonated, the queen's control over the swarm was broken. Without central direction, the harvester fleet fell into confusion. Admiral Rodriguez didn't waste the opportunity. She coordinated with the Draconid warships that had been standing by, and together they launched a devastating attack on the disorganized harvesters. Within hours, the invasion force was destroyed or retreating. When the human fleet returned to Council Station, they were greeted as heroes. Species that had once feared humans now cheered them. The Council called a special session to honor Earth's achievement. High Speaker Kraz addressed the packed chamber. "Throughout our history, we have lived in fear of predators. We evolved to run and hide, but humans evolved differently. They became predators of predators, hunters of hunters. Today, they have saved us all by using that unique nature." The Council voted unanimously to create a new status for Earth: Apex Guardians of the Galaxy. Humans would lead the combined defense forces against any future threats. At the celebration feast that followed, Chef Peter Wilson prepared a special meal. The centerpiece was a symbolic dish: Earth shark prepared with harvester-inspired spices. Representatives from all species tried it, no longer afraid of eating predator meat but seeing it as a way to share in human strength. Admiral Rodriguez sat with Captain Lee and their alien allies. The Draconid commander, a battle-scarred veteran named Krell, raised a glass in toast. "To humans," he said, "the most surprising species in the galaxy. You taught us that the greatest strength is not to fear predators but to become something they fear." Admiral Rodriguez smiled. "On Earth, we learned long ago that the most dangerous thing in any forest or ocean isn't the wolf or the shark. It's the human hunter." As the celebration continued, Ambassador Collins found herself standing with diplomat Nix, the small gray alien who had first suggested that humans might be valuable allies against threats. "Did you know it would happen like this?" Collins asked. "Did you see our potential from the beginning?" Nix's large eyes blinked slowly. "I knew you were different. All other species evolved running from predators. Only humans evolved hunting them, eating them, even befriending them. I hoped that would make you strong enough to face the dangers that lurk between the stars." Collins looked around at the gathered representatives of 17 worlds, all celebrating together, all looking to humans for protection. "We never expected to find our place in the galaxy like this. On Earth, we were just doing what came naturally. And that," said Nix with a small smile, "is what makes humans truly special. You fearlessly feast on apex predators without even realizing how extraordinary that is. Now the galaxy's greatest predators have become your prey, and we can all sleep safer because of it." As the celebration continued late into the night, a new era began for the galaxy. With humans as their protectors, the Council species looked to the future without fear, knowing that the most dangerous predators in known space were now their allies. The humans who had always been predators of predators